This is 101 ESPN from the wide world of sports complex in Orlando, Florida. Brought to you by Mama Lucia's Pizza.
It is my pleasure to have the man sitting in front of me who may have the best hands in the NFL, and I'm not saying that just because he's sitting here. We're talking about the one, the only, Larry Fitzgerald with us. Larry, how are you, sir?
I'm doing fantastic. Did you hear the latest news?
What's that?
Albert Pujols is coming to the Twins.
Oh, that's not funny.
That's
not funny. You know you're gonna send our listeners into a state of panic.
I know. I'm just teasing.
It's good to have you here, man. And I wish we could start off with great news, but I got to get your take on the deadline is tonight for the NFL CBA, and I'm always interested to get the players' perspective on this. As a fan, I've said this over and over, how frustrated I am by the fact that this is the golden goose. This generates so much money, and so many people profit from this whole thing, yet it's gotten to a point, and it seems like people were resigned to the point, like, well, there's going to be a lockout, so we'll kind of deal with it when we get there. Do you feel like people, the powers that be, were proactive enough as leading up to this thing, or was everybody just resigned that, well, it's going to happen, so then we'll deal with it then?
I think things should have been started a long time ago. I mean, the meetings really didn't even start getting serious until the Super Bowl, it seemed like to me. I wish things would have been a little bit more proactive. We might not be here in this situation, but I'm encouraged that there won't be too long of a work stoppage. I'm hoping.
Now, so do you feel like there will be are we looking at missing games? I mean, if you're going to put your best guess on it, what would you say is going to happen?
I wouldn't say they would give up the revenue of missing any games. I think that there'll be some agreement hashed out before the start of the season. I don't think I'm any different from any other player. I don't think anybody will miss OTAs and mini camps, but nobody wants to miss games.
Now, what's the reaction you've gotten? There are a lot of fans around. I'm sure people are talking to you about stuff, and some people are mad at players, some people are mad at owners. What's the reaction you're getting when you run into fans?
I don't think fans have an opinion really on that. I just think they are loyal to the game. They want to see the best players in the world performing on the greatest stage, and the NFL provides that, and I think that's what they're more worried about.
Is the gap between the players and the owners as big as it appears? Because we hear, I don't know what's true, what's not when we hear the numbers. There's a lot of spin out there. You hear that, well, the players right now get close to a 60-40 split, and then we heard the players said, hey, we'll give you 50-50. We won't even ask to see the books. And the owner said, nah, no good. I mean, how much truth is there to that? Do you know? Or?
No, I'm not in the meetings. I'm not a player rep, but I do talk to my player rep all the time. He gives me accurate information on what's going on daily in the meetings, and I also talk to Charlie Batch and other players that are actually there. So I'm getting a good idea of what's going on, but I don't really think that's really the biggest concern. I mean, there's a lot of different, with the insurance and the rookie wages. I mean, there's a lot of things that need to be hashed out besides just the revenue splitting.
Now, where are you at with 18 games? Because I think fans, obviously, more football, they eat it up. I'd eat it up. I'd love 18 games, but players, you have a different concern. It's a different perspective. Are you in favor of it, or you don't like it?
I'm against it. This game is tough enough to play 16 games and stay healthy. I mean, you looked at this year, there's 350 guys that weren't even able to finish the rest of the regular season. 350 guys that are on IR, and there's only 1,600 players in the NFL. So that's just too many guys going down with major injuries. And you add 2 more games, that number will go up significantly.
So if they said, listen, we'll expand the rosters, we'll increase the money, does that pacify you on some level, or is it still you'd rather just 16? Because
no.
You can get hurt in week 1, you can get hurt in week 2, or you can get hurt in week 17.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think what it does is it lowers your life expectancy. The more you play, the more games you play, the shorter your career is going to be. You look at running backs and quarterbacks, the guys that are taking these major hits. The more games you play, the more hits, the more carries you sustain. It gives you greater risk of injury.
Well, let's talk about your team. I mean, who's going to be throwing you the ball next year? Assuming we have a season.
Yeah, I have no idea. I'm looking forward to finding out the answer myself. I know we're going to address the position. I'm not sure what's going to be through draft, free agency, trade. I don't know what they're going to do.
Anybody try to convince Kurt to come out of retirement?
Absolutely. I mean, I was in his ear every single day, every day. But, Kurt is a man of his word. If he tells you something, I mean, it's as good as gold. I mean, you're from St. Louis, so I know you probably know the kind of person he is, and he hasn't changed one bit.
Yeah, he walks on water in St. Louis. he wore a Cardinals uniform, but he was still loved like he was playing for the Rams. That didn't wear off. Well, Larry, hey, it's a pleasure to speak with you. I'm glad you're able to stop by, and it's good to get the players' perspective on what's going on. And I hope we're playing. I hope we're watching you next year, and ultimately, I hope we see you in a Rams uniform. I got to be honest.
I appreciate it. It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. There he is, everybody. Larry Fitzgerald, our guest there. Good to catch up with him.